Greetings everybody. Let's quickly break down US30. So let's get straight into the chart. So this is the monthly chart, as you guys can see, and this chart is very much similar to the monthly chart of Nasdaq 100, in that this chart also has this candlestick, which is the current monthly candlestick, which seems to be forming a pin bar, right? But just also bear in mind that it has not closed as yet, and what may actually happen is that it may actually close as a bullish candle. So at this point in time, it was still too early to regard it as a pin bar. Anyway, let's proceed, but we need to just make sure that we monitor that candle, which is the monthly candle of US30. So what else do we see on this chart that we should be paying attention to? So we can see that the actual candlestick rejected at this level over here, more or less, and this level over here is a very strong level of resistance, and we might possibly see price push further down, and that is because we actually have a very nice M structure over here. Price broke the neckline to the bottom side and then went back up to test that neckline of that M structure, and we might possibly see price push further down, and I think we should possibly be looking for selling opportunities at this point, but depending on how this actual candlestick also closes, right? So I would actually wait for the current month's candlestick to close rather, and depending on how it closes, I will possibly start looking for selling opportunities, right? And it may be that price pushes to around this level over here, and that would complete that M structure, in my humble opinion, right? However, at this point in time, I'm just speculating, right? It may also happen that price may possibly push only to this level over here, and that is because it's actually a very strong level of support. Because if you look at it, actually we had a touch over here, we had a rejection over here, more or less, although a break happened at the same time. We had a rejection over here, and in the future we might see price come back to this level to reject and only push further up, right? So I'm just speculating at this point in time. I'm not saying that the market will push to this level over here. I'm just showing you something that we should all be paying attention to. Anyway, I don't see anything else of interest on this particular chart. What I'm going to do now is head down to the weekly chart. So here we are on the weekly chart. So this chart is very much similar to the Nasdaq chart, right? Because on the Nasdaq chart, we also spoke about the fact that we have this W structure over here with a neckline over here, right, or rather over there. However, in regards to this W structure, right, we can see that price had broken to the upside of the W structure and then came back to test the neckline. However, the neckline was unable to hold price at this level. So at this point in time, we can now disregard this W structure because it is no longer relevant. Having said that, as much as we had this huge W structure over here, just bear in mind that we also have another smaller W structure at this level over here, right, with the neckline being at this level. We saw price breaking to the upside of that neckline and coming back to test the neckline. Remember guys, that when it comes to W structures, we want to see the market push up to break that neckline and then come back to the neckline to test it, and this is where we would look for possible buying opportunities, as the anticipation is for the market to push further up, right? And that's exactly what we expect in regards to this area over here. We should possibly be looking for buying opportunities, as the anticipation is for price to move further up, right? However, having said that, I'm not saying that we should just buy at this point just because the neckline is being tested by price, right? We should look for further reasons for why we should be buying possibly at this point. That's all I'm saying, right? Anyway, I'm just going to add a neckline to that W structure, just so that we don't forget about it, because it's a very important level. And as we head down to the small time frames, we should be able to refer to it, Anyway, Yeah, so the next thing I'm going to do is add the Fibonacci retracement tool. I just want to see if this neckline aligns with any of the key numbers that we have on that particular tool. So just bear with me. Let's see. Fibonacci. Let's see. So there we go. So we can clearly see that the W, or rather the neckline of this W structure, aligns with the 61.8% Fibonacci retracement level, right? So that's confluence as far as looking for possible buying opportunities goes, because we have confirmation, right? However, we still need further confirmation, right? So we have the W structure. Let me just actually delete this too. So we have this W structure, right? We have the neckline of the W structure being broken. We have price coming back to the W structure, or rather the neckline of the W structure to test it, and we have the neckline of the W structure aligning with a very key, or rather a very important Fibonacci retracement level, right? So we should indeed be looking for possible buying opportunities at this level. However, as I said, we need further reasons for why we should be looking for possible further reasons at this level, right? Anyway, let's head down to the daily chart to see if we can possibly find further reasons. However, before we do so, we seem to have what seems to be a gap at this level, but I'm not quite sure at this point in time, but we will see clearly as we head down to the daily chart. Okay, so here we are on the daily chart, right? So I've spoken about this area over here, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and it looks like we do have a gap at that point, at that level, but I'm still not sure. We'll see as we head down to the small time frames if we do indeed have a gap at that level. Anyway, here we are on the daily chart, and the first thing that I'm going to do in regards to this particular daily chart is just add my channel. So just bear with me. Here we go, more or less. There we go. Okay. So on the daily chart, what else do we see on this daily chart that we should be paying attention to? What else do we see on this daily chart that we should be paying attention to? So as much as on the weekly chart we spoke about how we have this W structure over here, also bear in mind that we have what seems to be a head and shoulders pattern here, with the side being the left hand shoulder, this being the head, and this being the right hand shoulder. And this head and shoulders pattern has a neckline around this area over here. Yeah, so indeed this US30 chart is very much similar to the Nasdaq chart. Nonetheless, let's proceed. So you guys know that when it comes to head and shoulders patterns, right, we want to see the neckline being broken to the downside, and then price going back to the neckline to test it, and we would look for selling opportunities at that point, right? I'm not saying that we should just sell by virtue of having price test the neckline. I'm saying we should look for possible selling opportunities. If we don't have confidence, and if we don't see further reasons for why we should be selling at this point, we're not going to sell. However, we're going to look for possible selling opportunities at this point, right? Which means that the anticipation right now is for the market to head back to the neckline, right? Let me just draw that properly. For the market to head back to the neckline of this structure, and then possibly push further down. However, just bear in mind that we also have this W structure, and in regards to this W structure, the anticipation is for price to also head back to the neckline to test it, and we should also be looking for possible buying opportunities, right? So if you look at this entire area over here, right, if you look at this entire area over here, it's a bit risky, right? Because just like with the Nasdaq chart, we have two opposing structures, right, which have necklines in more or less the same area. The neckline of this W structure is at this level over here, more or less. The neckline of that head and shoulders pattern is at this level over here, more or less, right? So anything can happen at this point, right? So it becomes very risky in as far as buying or selling goes. However, let's head down to the smaller time frames to see if we can actually get away with buying or selling, right? Anyway, let's proceed. So before we go down to the H4 chart, is there anything else of interest or of value that we see in regards to this particular chart? I don't see much really at this point in time. However, let me just also point out that we have this candlestick over here, this point, or rather at that level. It is a liquidity candlestick, and it also confirms that price at one point or another has to come down even further to this level to grab that liquidity, right? So price may still push further down to this level and then only push further up, right? As much as rather we have that candlestick, just also bear in mind that, and also in previous videos I've spoken about how we have this W structure over here, and the fact that a lot of traders and investors had bought at this point, because when it comes to W structures, people usually buy on that second leg of the W structure and place their stop losses just below, right? So we have a whole lot of liquidity that's sitting at this point over here, right? And as much that, or rather as much as we would love to see price possibly bounce off this area, what may actually happen is it may push even further down to this area to trigger that liquidity and then possibly form a very nice W structure, right? With this being the second leg of the W structure, right? So we just need to ensure that we are up to speed as far as all the possible outcomes that may possibly occur, right? Anyway, from here I'm just gonna head down to the H4 chart, so just bear with me. Let me just fix my channel. This is my daily channel, by the way. Just want to make sure that it is as accurate as can be. Let's see. There goes the channel, more or less. There we go. Right. And then the next thing that I'm going to do in regards to the H4 chart is add my H4 channel as well. So just bear with me. H4 channel. Just bear with me, guys. There we go, and here we go. Right, so here we are on the H4 channel. So what do we see in regards to this particular chart, which is the H4 chart, that we should be paying attention to, right? Can you guys also see that we had an M structure over here with the neckline being over there? You guys know that when it comes to M structures, we want to see the M structure being broken to the bottom side and price going back to the neckline to test it and possibly pushing further down, right? Can you guys also see that the neckline is yet to be tested? So what may also possibly happen is that price may head up to this neckline of this M structure and then possibly push further down. Can you also guys see that, let me just actually redraw that. Can you also see that the neckline of this M structure also more or less aligns with the neckline of this huge head and shoulders pattern, because that neckline is more or less at this point over here, right? So price may come back to this level, test both necklines, and only push further down, maybe to this level over here, right? So that's also a possibility, and we just need to make sure that, as I said, we have a 360-degree view of what is currently happening in regards to the market, right? So can you guys see that I've just zoomed out? So we have, as I said, just bear with me rather, we have this pattern over here, right, with a neckline at this level, and we have a small M structure over here with a neckline at that level. So it is quite possible that price may push up to this level and then push further down, right? So that is my analysis in as far as US30 is concerned. In as far as actual buying or selling decisions at this point in time, I don't see any. However, having said that, there's a chance that price may head to this level from where it is and then possibly push further down, right? Myself, I will most likely be looking for selling opportunities at this point, but there's also a possibility that I will not sell at this point. And why do I say so? That is because we need further confluence, and also if we head down to the daily chart again, remember that we have this particular W structure, and I said to you guys that price at this point in time is testing a very key fib level, and what may actually happen is the market may push further up, right? So selling at this level may also be risky, but we just need to make sure that, as I said, we are safe and we have a 360-degree view of what could potentially happen, right? Just to go back to the H4 chart, however, in as far as buying or selling at this point in time, I don't see any actual buying or selling decisions, or rather opportunities. So I hope what I've just said makes sense, and peace out.